So like I say, the top board there is a 5/4. The bottom one is a 1 inch. So I'm going to take that 1 inch board off of there now, and then I'll cut that 5/4 down to 1 inch, because I don't want 5/4 boards like I was saying, because I don't have any place to dry it. I want 1 inch boards right now. Cutting a thin board like this, and you're going to flat cut it like I am, you want to try and, the board's longer than what the actual bunk rails are there, so it hangs over probably 10 inches here, 6 at that end. You want to try and keep them so that there's not too much hanging over, like excessively amount on one end. Like, in other words, you don't want to hang 20 inches out one end, because the board has a tendency to either dive down or dive up, and then you'll get a bad cut there. So you want to keep it close to the bunk. Same thing with this. So I sort of, more important to start to cut good. So I moved it back a little bit so it's more solid right where it's sitting. Boy, is it humid out. Wow, I am soaking wet. Anyway, well, you just saw me there cutting the top of it off. Wood-Mizer doesn't recommend that you, for more or less purposes, use the blade as a planer, because you're only cutting on one side of the blade. And when you hit some of the hard knots, it tends to take a little life out of the blade. Not a lot, but, you know, enough. So, anyway, that's the end of that log. And, guys, I was doing some thinking the past couple days about some different subjects, and I know that, like I say, a lot of the people that I have on my channel are older listening to me. At least that's the ones I get responses from. But nonetheless, young people can learn from this as well. You know, I was reading a book this morning about wisdom. And it was saying that, you know, wisdom is something that you should gain throughout the years. Never stop gaining wisdom. And, you know, I think it's a good idea to get wisdom. There's no doubt about it. You know, there's a million different subjects you can gain wisdom over. Bullseye! Just wanted to see where he was. Anyway, there's a bunch of different subjects we can gain wisdom over. But the most important one, that's more important than gaining wisdom, is the wisdom of knowing what is wisdom and what is foolishness. You know, you can't, when you enter into a contract to do something, you have something that you must do, they have something they must do. In most contracts, it's a matter of exchange of money. Money's given for one thing, the other person performs for that. However, you know, there's times when it's not a matter of money, and it's a matter of promises. And when you gain wisdom, wisdom teaches you where the difference is. You know, what you can do between two people to come up with something that is a good thing for both people, but it doesn't involve money. So I know that for myself, I tried to teach my kids not necessarily wisdom. I mean, I taught them whatever I was doing at the time they learned how to do when they were with me, no matter what it was, whether I was pouring concrete or whether I was building something, making furniture, or just plain walking the dog, or I didn't really have a dog during the kids' days, or just anything, whatever I did, work on trucks, cars, they learned while they were with me. But the most important thing that I tried to teach them, and some of them got it and lost it, and some of them never got it. It's very, very difficult to understand what is wisdom and what is not wisdom. The internet is a perfect example of that. You go on the internet and just look up, I mean anything. Look up, this morning I was looking at, or the other night I saw a video about Neanderthals, or Neanderthal, however they pronounce it. Don't really believe in none of that stuff. However, I like watching the videos of it. But if you watch one video, you'll see, well, we discovered this bone and this is what we think. And then you watch another video and it's the same bone, but this guy thinks something else. So this guy's saying this is how this happened, the other guy's saying this is how this happened. Two different results from the same thing that took place, where probably somebody without so much learned wisdom could figure out what really happened a lot quicker than what the learned wisdom has done to people. But anyway, what I want to just say is, and I know you older people will know this, trying to teach your children and those you love the difference between what wisdom is and what wisdom is not is more important than giving them the actual wisdom they're seeking. Now, if you understand what I'm talking about, then you understand this. But if you don't, then you have learned wisdom. You might want to learn the other part. Have a good one, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video of this white pine log being cut up. Have a good one. Okay, so there's six quarter sawn 1x12 in there. And if you were watching how I cut it, you'll understand how I got the quarter sawn boards out of there without any real fuss or muss. So, nice looking 1x12. As soon as we get this temperature up in the kiln, which is not going to happen today, the humidity in there is 70%, not good for drying. But I'll be optimistic. There's got to be some sunny days before winter yet. It's only October the 4th. I mean, right? Right? The sun's gonna shine again, isn't it? The 1x12 I always put in the kiln. The 2x material I always put to air dry, just in case you're wondering. Okay guys, so there's 3 flitches left from this white pine. One is a 1-inch, the other one's a 2-inch. So I'm going to cut this flitch into 2 2x6s. Now because of the wane on this, you can see it there on this side. Because of the wane, I'm going to cut that into a 6-inch board. I'm going to get 1 2x6 out of it, but I'm going to do it in 2 cuts. Now that's my last flitch from the log, or from that log. So I'm gonna cut a 1x6 out of that, because with the wane on the opposite side, that's the size board I'm gonna end up getting. So 1x6 will be good then. Just in case you're wondering, what I'm doing there is I'm measuring up from the bunk, and I have about it's at 8 inches off the bunk is where I can get a pretty much clear board. Might hit it right in here, but this is 8'3", so again I can get rid of that. So I want to set the side 8 inches above the bunk to cut this board. And then when I flop that around, what's ever left, that'll be cut at 6 inches. I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but 1-inch pine boards at the local box store is much higher than a 2-inch pine board as far as value goes and cost. Have a good one, guys. This old man is beat in that hour and a half. Phew.